on, open the eyes of the blind. With the church, there's no one. With the church, come on, say none like you. Come on, everybody just say into the dark, say into the dark. Come on, say out of the ocean. Come on, there's no one. If you're a believer, come on, none like you. Let's go. Come on, sheep sing, come on. Everybody lift your voice and say, our God is great, our God is strong, Lord, you are higher than any other. Our God is healer, awesome. Say, our God, hey, say, God is healer, awesome in power.
But knowing the end of the journey will give you courage doing the journey. We all have a tendency to be waiting for God's promise rather than working towards those promises. Why should we waste time waddling around our living room hoping for some kind of miracle to happen? For it's important to understand that the rewards at the end are determined for our commitment to the process of reaching those goals. In other words, he says, don't expect from me if you didn't come to give to me. In other words, and if you're going to sit and wait, then I'll wait. If you're not going to participate, then I'm not going to respond. If you're going to sit here and stare and look and watch everyone else, then God says, then you're going to miss out on an opportunity that this could have been your night tonight. But because you came with the spirit of spectating and not participating, God says, what I was going to do, I'll hold it for another day. Now, for some of you, there are a few of you that can wait till next week for your miracle. But there's a group of us in here tonight that is so desperate that if hollering gets on your nerve, it's just going to have to get on your nerve. I want you to put a disclaimer out before I get started in this message and just gently push your neighbor and tell them, I ain't leaving out of here tonight without it. You have to act on that promise. In other words, there is a God part and then there is your part. For every divine action, there must be a human reaction. Hear me, my brothers and sisters. I said, for every divine action, there has to be a human reaction. Let's just practice for a moment. Did he wake you up this morning? That was a divine action. Now, the reaction to the divine action has to be, Lord, I thank you for another day. See, some of you don't know how to get another day because you ain't praised him on this day. And if I was you, I would not hold back my praise for another day that's not guaranteed, and hold and appreciate the gift of today that's been given to me. And God says, don't ask me for a future if you can't rejoice in your present. So the text tells us that one evening, while King Solomon was asleep, he heard these words in 2 Chronicles 7:14 that says, if my people, which are called by my name, shall humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then will I hear from heaven and will I forgive their sins and I will heal their lands. Our action creates a response in the earthly and heavenly realm. When we are faced with insurmountable problems, we can respond in one or two ways. We can look at the problem and shrink back in panic and perplexity. Or we can forge ahead with courage and confidence. You must understand that there is an enemy who seeks to block your pathway and keep you from reaching your personal God-given assignment. This enemy seeks to convince you that your time will never come. And so what he does is he creates illusions of delays and denials, trying to convince you that God doesn't care. And you must ignore his little tricks and understand that God does care, and that he is working with you to make your dreams come true. I need you to understand that the enemy realized that if he can successfully convince you that the day of promise would never come, then he knows that this unbelief would paralyze you with fear and cause you to slip into a spiritual dormancy. The only thing that would guarantee you your failure, and that is quitting. This is why he says in Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 3, the New American Standard Bible says, for the vision is yet for an appointed time. It hastened towards the goal, and it would not fail, though it tarries. Wait for it would certainly come, and it will not be delayed. And so here's the test is, I know you can praise him when it's good. But the challenge is, can you bless him when you don't have an inkling of an idea when God is going to manifest the miraculous miracle that he has spoken over your life? There's a gamble in hell on every one of you tonight. Satan has a bet going on right now with all the imps that's been assigned to your address. And the bet is, I guarantee you, with all the hell that she's facing, she will not come to church, and she will not clap her hands, and she will not open her mouth, and she'll sit there like a dry log and like a dry dead statue and do absolutely nada. But there's somebody here today that will say to the devil, it don't have to be right for me to bless God. The reason why it don't have to be right, because sometimes my praise is not based upon where I am. Sometimes my praise is based upon where I've come from. And there are times I can speak to where I am and say, if God brought me out there, then I know he can bring me out of this. You have to have the attitude that no matter what I'm facing, God can. God can, God will, God shall, God is able. No matter what I'm facing, the attitude of the believer has to be that I know he will. Somehow he will, some way he will. I don't know the date, the time, the week, the month. I don't know what time of day it's going to be, but I know that I know. You see, my shout tonight is based upon I know that something is about to happen in my life. God's truth about who you are and what your destiny is will set you free from emotional blindness, a spirit of poverty and negative speech and rejection. I'm telling the devil, I'm giving you back every lie that you've spoken over my life. I'm telling the devil today, I refuse to be broke and live in poverty. I'm telling the devil, I'm breaking every generational curse from off of my life. I'm telling the devil, I will not allow my past to keep haunting me and causing me not to break forth into my future. The enemy will love to give you emotional blindness and talk to your mind. And I come tonight to break down and to destroy the spirit of sabotage. Tell the devil every lie that you have spoken, I send it back to you and your mama. And I declare it will not last and work in my life. I'll stop by tonight to prophesy to somebody telling you you are victorious. And you are better than what you used to be. And your latter days will be greater than your former days. It is interesting that Jesus Christ did not enter into the world, into the earth realm in the physical sense until it was time. I stopped by the day that told you you have an expected season. And when God gets ready to bring your season to pass, all of your haters that cannot stand you cannot block what God has in store for you. I don't care who don't like you and who can't stand you. It doesn't matter who's been praying against you. When God says it's your time, there's not a prayer meeting that can hold up what God has with your name on it. I don't care who sprinkles sawdust across your house. I don't care how many witches and warlocks are praying against you. There's no hex no one can put over your life when God says it's your time. Just because it doesn't happen today doesn't mean that it won't happen. It just simply means it's just not time. But when you try to rush your due season, you end up losing time. And then you have to play what is called catch up. And Solomon articulated it well when he said that to everything there is a time and a season. The converse is true that when your time comes, nothing can stop it. When it's your time, there is nothing that can stop that promise from coming forth. You remember the story of Lazarus, recorded in John chapter 11, established this truth that one day Jesus got word that his friend Lazarus was dying. Lazarus' sisters Mary and Martha were begging him to come. His disciples thought that he would leave immediately, and so to their consternation he did not. His disciples didn't quite understand it. There is a need, so why aren't you here, Jesus? Jesus said, when you asked me to come, it just wasn't time. I was waiting for Lazarus to die. Sometimes God waits for everything to fall apart in your life before he shows up. Sometimes God let you get laid off the job so he can show you that I don't need you on a job to supply all of your needs according to his riches and glory. So Lazarus has died, and this makes no sense. Jesus had the power to heal his friend, but the Bible says he waited till he died. died. Jesus appeared to be totally insensitive to Mary and Martha's feelings. And Mary and Martha and Lazarus, dear and close friends of Jesus. And whenever Jesus would travel through their town on his way to a particular region, he would always stop off at their home and eat and hang out with them. The Bible says he was comfortable in their presence. I believe that Jesus must have been as grieved as Mary and Martha were, because he contemplated the crushing disappointment that his friends must be feeling at his seemingly indifference. I want you to see in the night that not only was Mary and Martha disappointed, but Jesus was disappointed. He was not disappointed that Lazarus had died. He was disappointed that they stopped believing. I want you to understand, sometimes God becomes disappointed because we stop believing. What else do I have to do to convince you that I'm the God of hard cases? What else do I have to do to show you that I'm the God that can handle any situation that rises up in your life? What else do I have to show you and prove to you that I can step in the middle of your mess and turn it around and cause it to work for your good? Stop by today to tell you that nothing you're facing is going to stop your expected season. I hear showers of blessings that's about to hit this congregation. I hear God saying, this is the season that I'm going to show you that I still can work things out on your behalf. I don't care how long you've been waiting. I'm still the God that can fix things for the child of God that's been waiting on me. I know it's been some time and it still has not come to pass. But God sent me here today to tell you that you got an expected season. You got a season with your name on it. You got a season with your blessings on it. And the enemy will try to talk you out of it. Make you feel like it's not going to come to pass. But I sent that tonight to tell you, they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as an eagle. Run and not be weary. Walk and not faint. Stop by tonight to tell somebody that you have an expected season. You've been holding on. Some of you been crying all night long. God told me to tell you, I've been catching your tears. He said you may have. I'm using your tears to pour it on your seeds. Your harvest is right around the corner. Your harvest is right around the corner. Your best days are just ahead of you. I came from Texas to tell somebody at the 41st Convocation, get ready, get ready. God has not forgotten about you. God is about to do something that's about to blow your mind. You are an Ephesians 3:20 candidate. The Bible says he's able to do exceedingly, abundantly, above all that we can ask or think, according to the power that's working on the inside. I send word to the devil to tell the devil that you are a liar. I have an expected season. Will you help me preach tonight? Touch your neighbor and say, neighbor, the devil is a liar. You have an expected season. Yes, you do. And if I was you, I wouldn't wait till the battle is over. But to shout right now. But I know that I have an expected season. I got to get out of here. But before I get out of here, shake somebody's hand like you're going to take it off. And say, neighbor, before you go to bed, I just want you to know you got an expected season. For all the hell that you've been going through, all the drama, all the trauma that you've been going through, I need you to loose that neighbor's hand. But they don't seem happy enough for what God's about to do in your life. Prophesy to yourself and say, I have an expected season. Y'all didn't say it right. I said, open up your mouth and shout, I have an expected season. You can believe it. Open your mouth and take your hand and pull it up. Preach in the future and say it's on the way. I want you to be prophetic. Preach into the future. Grab your season. Pull it to where you are. And shout it's on the way. It's on the way. Do you believe it? If you believe it, I want you to say to every devil in hell, will you open up your mouth and shout, I have an expected season. I'm about to get paid for all the hell that I've been going through. Put your neighbor and say you're about to get paid for all the hell that you've been going through. Tell them, hang in there. God's about to give you double for your trouble. Do you believe it? From the time you felt in despair, from the times you got wounded, they lied on you, but you kept holding on. They talked about you, but you kept holding on. They wrote you off, but you kept holding on. They gave up on you, but you kept holding on. God told me to tell you, this is your season. And he told me to tell the praise that will bless him tonight. What I was going to do next month, if you praise me like it's already done, I'll speed it up. I'll speed it up. I'll speed it up. I wish I had somebody that would give him a speed up praise. In other words, praise